How's it going, everybody? We've got two tournaments to discuss now that RLCS is back in session. We've got North America Regional 1 getting underway today. We also have the closed qualifiers for the grid for Europe. The final bracket has been shown for that, and which teams are going to join the automatically qualified. So a lot of things to discuss in today's video. What's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. As I mentioned in the intro, we've got two events to cover. The North American Regional Event 1, and then we've also got the closed qualifiers for European Grid. Grid obviously being a little bit different this season and this time around for the Spring Split because there's not multiple grids. There's just one continuous event that goes for 6 days. Before we get into that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, check out social medias, as well as everything else that you need to know about the video. Description down below with links. First things first, we're going to be talking about the Regional 1 $100,000 tournament. As always, for all the regionals, there is going to be 20 teams competing. We already have 12 qualified. The 12th and final spot was between Version 1 and Charlotte Phoenix. Both those teams have qualified, but Version 1 did it in a head-to-head best of 7 in a tiebreaker for being the 12th team and ended up winning and qualifying that way. While Charlotte Phoenix, Pride Stark Empire, Xset, United, Stromboli, Nefarious, Oxygen Esports, and 72PC ended up qualifying through the open qualifiers. You should be able to see on your screen the 4 groups of teams with 5 teams in each group. Group A is Kansas City Pioneers, NRG, Oxygen Esports, Pittsburgh Knights, and Stromboli. Group B is 72PC, Alpine, United, Sonics, and Envy. Group C is Charlotte Phoenix, Pride Stark Empire, Space Station Gaming, The Peeps, and Version 1. And Group D is G2, Ghost, Nefarious, Rogue, and Xset. Not exactly sure how they determined the seeding with this and how they came to be with the groups, but some of these definitely look pretty spicy. I can pretty convincingly through each group probably give you the team I assume is going to be the number 1 and the number 5, but ranks 2, 3, and 4 within them, I could not give you an idea. I think there's some pretty exciting things about some of these rosters, new additions as well, Stromboli coming back. You're talking about United now has Dapper. You've got Sonics still playing with their coach. Loco, now Charlotte Phoenix has been looking pretty dang good. You've also got Rogue seeing if they can continue their dominance as the second overall team in the region. There's a lot of really exciting things because we have not seen North American Rocket League in quite a while. I personally will be helping cast Group C. If you guys do not remember the format, Day 0, which is today, will be the beginning and the start of the regional, and those will be handled on the streams from the broadcasters themselves. If you would like links to those, check out the Liquipedia page I've linked in the description. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will have links to every individual broadcast. These will be starting at a little bit different times throughout the day because they do have some delayed rounds. The first one will be starting at 5 p.m. for round 1. That will be on the 18th at 5 p.m. Central, which is 6 p.m. Eastern. And then round 2 will be a couple hours after that. So a little bit of a space and time for a lot of these. I personally will be casting the ones over at Version 1, where I'll be covering Space Station versus Version 1. And then we've also got Charlotte Phoenix, so a rematch of the tiebreaker right away, which I think is actually pretty cool. Looking at the groups all together, though, probably Energy, Envy, honestly Peeps for Group C instead of Space Station, and then Rogue on top. From there, I think the teams that are probably going to get eliminated, if I had to guess, Jamal Jabari, now Oxygen, hasn't been looking too great, but I still think they'll be able to swing back, so probably Stromboli, the odd one out there. Kansas City Pioneers, also potential. In Group B, 72PC probably getting knocked out. In Group C, Pride Stark Empire getting knocked out. I think they're just outclassed by the teams around them. And then in Group D, most likely Nefarious. And then Ghost Gaming and Xset, I wasn't sure who was going to take 3-4. I think they'll be fighting, but probably going to be Rogue, then G2, Ghost, Xset, and then Nefarious if I had to guess. So kind of excited to see how those all play out. I love the round robin style where each team plays each team. And generally over 2 days, you're going to get probably the best results and the best teams moving forward, which I'm a fan of. After that, they'll then go into the knockout gauntlet with the top 16 teams out of the 20 playing in a double elimination. Top 2 are going to get a first round bye where they only need to win 1 match to progress into the finals, while the teams of the lowers are on a single elimination life. They win, they have to win 2 to make it in. Last day, which is on Sunday, which we will be doing a watch party for. I'm busy this weekend with like casting stuff, so pretty hectic for me. But the playoffs on Sunday will be the top 8 teams playing in a single elimination bracket, all best of 7s. That is it for the North American Regional. Let's jump ship over to Europe and talk about their qualifiers for the grid. European grid is going to be coming up here relatively soon. but they've got to figure out which the teams are that are going to be joining them. For those that do not know, currently there is already a handful of teams or so that are already qualified for the grid. Those teams are Dignitas, Endpoint, Galaxy Racer, Giants, Guild, Rix.gg, Team BDS, Team Singularity, Team Vitality, and Top Blokes. There's then 16 teams fighting for 6 spots. Those teams are going to be Solary, Liquid, Wolves, Team Queso, Wild, Woo, You Choose Pesce, Barcelona, White Demons, Unique Esports Club, Lantide, Godsmills Team, German Amigos, Howard, Little Giants, and Nordevent. I think it's pretty straightforward to tell which teams are going to be making it. I think the favorites, obviously, Solary, Queso, Godsmills team based on how they played. I think Howard might get a pretty good shot. White Demons have been playing pretty good. From there, I think it's kind of a toss-up. I think there is going to be multiple teams fighting for kind of the same spots. Based upon the bracket, I think there's going to be some teams that really are on the poor receiving end of this. I think Giants could be possibly one of them, where if they don't qualify right away, they're going to be in a really tough spot. But they are favored in their group, I guess if you want to call it in the bracket. But primarily the things to remember: Solary is the previous Oxygen team with the likes of Farah, Shazette, and Astral. If you look at Wolves, Wolves now has Cookser on their team alongside Rix, Ronda, and Oli, so there's some exciting things there. Team Queso still a really good bid. You look at Team Woo, that has changed up theirs now that they've got Louis P on their team alongside Kasai and Force. So there's a lot of different iterations. The thing I'm probably going to be paying attention to the most is Godsmill's team. After the astounding performance they had in Regional 1, I want to see them recreate it and do it again here in the grid. Plus then we get to see them weekly in the grid as well. It's still, I think, a really big difference here for teams that get to compete in the grid and otherwise. And the scary thing about this one is there is only one grid. In the past there was obviously like 8 weeks of the grid. There's 4 events in winter and fall. There was even more with the new format, but these teams are getting extra practice every single week, a chance at more money, and it also helps them with seeding. Although there is certain times where if you don't compete in the grid at all and they only take your regional results, it can benefit you. But end of the day is I do want to see some of these teams more often than not, just because of the lack of exposure we've had to them, I guess is the best way to answer it. So you also have hopes for teams like obviously Team Liquid with their downward trend and see if they can progress further. I personally want to see Wolves do well because of Cookser and see how they, I guess, come together as a unit. But I think it's a really difficult circumstance. I do think Cookser and Kronovi are kind of in similar regards, where they have been kind of dropped from the top 8s. And it's really tough when you don't have the surrounding talent of that top 8 to allow you to play, plus personality differences with being a little bit older. I do think both Kronovi and Cooks are in that same regard. Continuum, who Kronovi is playing for, already did not qualify for regionals, so that's another one he's out of. It just stinks to see some of these old guys starting to kind of transition to the next one, just because it's kind of like an end of an era. But again, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. But yeah, a lot of competition going on over the next week or so. I'm personally looking forward to, more than anything, the regional. I want to see North America because it's been a while, and which teams are going to bounce back. Obviously, some rosters, primarily in North America, just not changing. So are they going to be able to take that extra time off and use it to come back with a refreshed outlook and try to turn things around? You've got people that are looking hot, like Energy and Rogue. Are you going to see Envy and Space Station and G2 kind of bounce back? Or how is that going to play out? There's some pretty exciting storylines. We also have to start paying attention a lot to the rankings now that teams are starting to get down to the end of the wire of, hey, you know, regionals and the entire season's starting to wrap up. So there's only so many points still left available for claim. So I'm pretty excited. I'm excited for the spring split. I'm excited to get things underway. I'm excited to be casting again, which is something that I always miss and is kind of a passion. So I urge you guys, if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, drop those down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Plan on doing like a mailbox on Sundays just so you guys can get some of your questions answered. I see you guys have been dropping a lot of them, which I do greatly appreciate. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe. Cutting this one a little bit short. My voice has been pretty rough after streaming all day today, as well as prepping for other events. So last but not least, kind of as a last thing announcement, if you guys didn't see it, I have partnered with a organization, or I don't even know what you want to call them. I'm part of the staff, I guess, for a group called esports.gg. They are focused on providing information and insight from every single esport. Kind of if you go to their website, esports.gg, you can see articles and videos from every single game, not just Rocket League. So I'm going to be doing that quite a bit, and it's keeping me busy. So I'm appreciative of the work, appreciative of your guys' support. But that is going to do it for this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.